Hey, welcome to my channel, and this is a little video series where I'm gonna just go over what goes through my head while I'm preparing for a session. I'm busy and I just wanted a really casual way to be able to share with the world what my D&D sessions are like and what goes through my head. Hopefully it helps you guys out and maybe you take away something that you can use in your own games. But yeah, with that, let's jump straight into it. I thought for the first episode I would introduce the campaign because that's probably a good place to start, and how I started with my players. I really believe in player agency and really getting them excited for a campaign, so I tried to tie them in to the story directly. And what better way to do that than to give each of them the ability to make a nemesis that they want to track down and kill, and why. So they have this whole backstory of how they made this enemy or why they want to defeat this enemy. And then the campaign setting is that they've been trying to defeat these guys for a long time, whether because they're immortal or they're able to resurrect themselves. They're unable to really permanently defeat them. However, session 0 started with the news that the players have heard that the hero party, the people who have been charging the attack against the undead and the evils of the world, just defeated the Queen of Death and banished her to her own realm, severing any connection between this plane and all the other realms of evil that she was pulling from. As a result, though, now all of the nemesis that they've been trying to defeat are mortal. There's no immortal monsters, immortal beings anymore. They've severed it, and this is now a chance for them to kill their enemies and once and for all finish the goal that they've been tasked with this entire time. Now, I wanted this to be really epic. I didn't want them to have to spend the entire journey figuring out their kits or playing new characters. They've been playing D&D for a long time, so they're very familiar with the rules. So I thought, I'll just start them off at level 10. They don't need to go through the whole process of 1 to 10, figuring out, lowly grunts and fighting these little minions. I wanted them to jump straight into the fray and the battle and the conflict that they really probably are looking forward to, and the reason why they wanted to play this campaign. So each person had a custom villain that they made, that they tied it to their own backstory, and I plopped them down into the world and gave them a kind of backstory driven reason why they're in these locations, and dropped in little hints, lots of little nuggets on leading the players to find these people they've been searching for. And now these monsters, these nemesis that they've built, are leaderless and scared, potentially, because they can be killed. So they're a lot more cautious. They're a lot more they're building up for one final epic battle, and that's going to make for an even better final confrontation. And to give y'all kind of an insight of what my players created, I thought it'd be cool to share that there are currently 4 major villains tied to about 5 or 6 players. So the first one is Velmarin the Lich, and this Velmarin the Lich was once tied to one of my characters' backstory because he created my character initially as a familiar and mistreated him and used him, and now this familiar is out to seek revenge against his former master, who initially seemed okay and kind, but then turned into this evil monster. And he saw his old master transform into a lich and not stop him and not choose to end his service with him or not stop him is a place of regret and conflict he has within his own character, which I think is really cool. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they interact. Next is Azeroth the Tormentor. And this guy is able to basically possess mortals and possess people and creatures in order to cause really emotional damage, to cause people to face their loved ones and manipulate things behind the scenes, more of a trickster and more of a mysterious figure in the world. And so I've kind of placed him as a key figure in a lot of the turmoil that goes on because he's behind it. behind the scenes, not really veiling his surface. It's probably going to be the most difficult or require the most investigation to outright find and capture or corner. And he's tied to two of my players because he possessed one of their friends, and they were forced to put down their friend in order to save their village. So these two characters are really interesting because two of my old players were like, what if our two characters had kids, and we played the two siblings. So these two characters are two siblings who each took this tragic moment and dealt with it in very drastically different ways. One of them becoming very cold and suspicious of the world and negative, while the other one became more recluse, shy, scared of the world, and kind of like turned away from the nature part, or turned away from the real world and kind of went towards their own artificery, like making their own things that, might tie to them turning away from the real world and turning to this like world where they're able to create things, and they know exactly how things will work. Maybe that's a way for them to cope with what happened. Next is Belmore, the Chaotic Tide. This character, or this villain, is like a demigod that is basically the creator and the progenitor of the wild magic sorcerer subclass. They are the thing that like utilizes randomness, probability, and turns it into something like a weapon or something that can be used to always benefit him. So any unknown is actually beneficial to him. And he created these seeds within people, within these talented sorcerers, to cause their magic to go crazy and wild and turn them into and spread the chaos that he wants in the world. Because the more chaos there is, the more unknowns there are, the less structure there is, the more powerful this demigod becomes. And one of the players, his daughter and his wife, are wild magic sorcerers who are stricken with the sickness of this wild magic slowly eating away at their powers, making them more uncontrollable. And he sees that his wife basically dies because of this lack of control. And he knows that it's because Belmore targeted her specifically and caused her to go wild, because it was her time to cause and sow this great chaos in their hometown and where they were growing up. And so now he's on this search to put an end to this and hopefully save his daughter, who is also afflicted with this sickness. Now she's like this headstrong, really awesome character that I definitely want to tie into the story, because she is afflicted with this sickness, but rather than kind of just be helpless and require saving, she is actively trying to also hunt down Belmore, maybe a little too proactively, honestly, and she goes headfirst into searching for him. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of character growth, and this father trying to talk with his headstrong daughter about what he believes, balancing what's right and what you want to do with what's practical and not risking your life, because he wants her to live. And finally, we have Gabriel, the fallen angel. So this last character, she is friends with this other angel called Gabriel, who is strong, confident, everything she had hoped to be. And she accepted that she was more of a passive angel. She wasn't the type to fight and have this martial prowess. And she really looked up to him. But as time went on, this angel, Gabriel, that she looked up to, started to blame, get pulled into the dark side, kind of like Anakin from Star Wars, where he starts having this fall from grace, where he is upset that there's always evil in the world and how evil humans can be. And when he starts focusing in on that, he sees less and less of the good sides of what humans can do and what they're capable of. And it kind of speaks to how if you focus on all the things that go wrong, it seems like the entire world is going wrong. And you start attributing blame to things and people who don't really deserve it. So she starts seeing this fall, where she notices him turning, blaming humans in the mortal realm for all the bad things that they've done and that are happening, saying that no matter how many people he saves, there's always evil left. And his conclusion is that these humans and this mortal realm are what's causing this evil, and that the only way to remove it is to kind of cut it out and be ruthless. And so he's not necessarily evil where he just thinks all humans are evil, but he's ruthless in how he deals out justice now, to the point where he went from a shining knight to like this grizzled bear-like form, and he just tears apart his enemies, mercilessly cruel and bloodthirsty. And her friend is now this character has now seen her friend grow twisted and vows to stop him before it's too late. And if it requires killing him, then yeah, like, you can't just ruthlessly exact justice, because he might think he's completely justified, but I mean, Dolly sees that the world isn't so clear cut, and that every person you kill, like, if you just kill bad guys, there are good people in the world who are affected by that in a very bad way, and you have to, it's not that simple. So those are the characters and their villains, and I think I'm really looking forward to how the session goes, or this campaign goes. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I look forward to hearing back from you guys. Thanks for joining into this podcast like chat. I know it's unedited, and I just thought it would be fun to share. So talk to you later, guys. Have a good day. Bye.